G'day guys, Steve Morgan here with the 2017 Zerek BARRA Tour Team of the Year, Craig Griffiths and Karim DeRitter. You guys have been the standard for the last few years, and every year you seem to take this trophy home. But Craig, in the last few years, it hasn't been an easy battle, has it? You've snuck in by 1 point for a second year in a row.
Yeah, no, 1 point, it's pretty close. And young Zach and Laney today, they done unreal last night, like winning at Teamborough, then winning again last night, and this is their second year in here. So you imagine what they're going to be next year. They switched on, the first session the other day, they missed out on their bag, so they went searching, and that's what you got to do. You got to, if it's not working, you'll feel it. You got to go and find them, and they went and found them and nailed them.
Yeah. And look, I know you guys yesterday, like mathematically, they couldn't win it. The only way that you could get close to beating you was for those guys to win and for you to not upgrade your scores, and that's sort of exactly what happened, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, especially what did they get? All them 25 fish the day before, so we knew they were going to go pretty good last night, but we had it wrapped up, so we just kind of kicked back and took last night pretty easy. But we still got to get your 5, and you aim for your 5, and we aim to be, not win everyone, but we want to be consistent, so that's what we try and do.
So, Karim, that's another year where you've got a full limit in every event of the BARRA Tour. And BARRA, I reckon, are probably the most moody fish we fish for in the Brim, Bass and Barra circuit. So, for me, I think that's a great achievement for 2 years in a row to get your full limit.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what we aim for every year is a limit. Like Riffo said, we don't aim to win, we aim to get a limit. If we get a good limit, usually you do pretty well. If you get a small limit, you're mid-pack or top of the pack anyway. So, for guys that want to do the tour, that's if you aim for that sort of that amount, then you'll do pretty well. Yeah.
Now, one of the things about the BARRA Tour is it's open to anyone. Anyone can come and fish together as a team. And what we like to do is we have ABT's motto is who shares wins. So I've got the guys to bring along some of their must-have baits and rods and reels so that if you want to get started in the BARRA Tour, you've got a place to start. And there's no better lures to throw than what the Team of the Year throws year after year. So Griffo, let's start off with this rig here. Run us through the rig and the lure. So we've got actually 1, 2, 3 baits here. Run through those three rigs and how you fish them.
Well, this is my Fouse rod. Like the fish here in Fouse are nuts, and we throw big baits. We've got 7-inch cast 8 with a stinger rig on it. I just make that up with a bit of wire and twist it on, epoxy on it, and we throw bigger stuff than that. I can't show you that, we'll keep that to ourselves for now, but it's a lot bigger than that, and we need these rods to throw on this Edge 807. It's 12 to 30, and it can handle them big ones, easy as. You can throw them right out there, let it sink in the edge of the weed and just slow retrieve, stop halfway, give it a little jiggle, keep it coming, and it's perfect for it.
Now, what I notice as a brim angler doing the BARRA Tour, by this last event, my shoulders and upper body is getting beat up by throwing heavy lures the whole time, and having that light rod must make a difference.
Yeah, no, that's why we have that light rod, light reel, and these new tranks, like that's light as. You can it sits in your hand. I can cast that like all night.
Now, what strength line and leader do you use, and would you recommend?
I'm just trialling this new stuff from Torre. It's 65 pound, and it did the whole tour and a few days pre-fishing, and I had no drama with that at all. We run 80. I run 80 at my most with my swim baits, but if I'm using vibes, I use my 665 on my vibes.
That's a more standard BARRA rod, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a 6'6", so I throw lures on this as well. And the new Madness vibes, we put YS81s on the vibes, and 22s on the bigger stuff with the extra splitties. They're strong as. And I usually go 50, but Rimmer keeps getting me to go 60 because they can chew you pretty easy at Fouse.
Now, this is a lure that we haven't seen from you guys before, this Madness 5. Karim, do you want to go through the retrieve and how you actually fish this bait? Because I know Brim and Bass guys are big users of vibes. Yep. They like a retrieve where you let it to the bottom, you sort of pop it up off the bottom. Is it the same for BARRA? Like, is it easy for a Brim or a Bass guy to learn how to catch a BARRA on this?
Yeah, I think the Brim and Bass guys would adapt pretty well to the BARRA stuff. The Madness vibes are pretty cool, and there's a internal stainless structure. It's pretty much, I think it's not even wire. It's like it's been cut out, so it's really, really strong. It's got a soft latex body to it. The idea with these baits depends on the mood of the BARRA, as we discussed previously. Little pops off the bottom. So, on the weekend, that barra responding to big lifts, and so it was dropping from a longer rate, and that seemed to be the key to get the bite. So yeah, you got to depend on what the barras are, what mood they're in, pretty much. So
when you're fishing this, and again, as a non-barra fisherman, I come to this event and I think, well, a lot of those edges are really weedy. How do you pop one of these things off the bottom? You have to obviously fish outside the weed lines.
Yeah, outside, or if you've got if it's nice green, clean weed, so none of the broken down, flooded stuff. Yep, you get that black stuff on your trebles, you let it go to the bottom of the weed and just rip it really hard, so it'll tear through the weed and then free the weed at the same time. If you got any weed, usually the barras won't chew it, so you got to rip it out, pop it out, and let it sink back to the bottom and keep going once you're in your clear zone.
That's why we use the Zers with the 7-to-3 ratio to rip it out. And if you do get the strike, like a barra can be to the surface and you've only felt the sick and he's already there, so you've got to try and keep up with him. That's why we're all with the high ratio with the vibes.
So let's go through the kit then. If you're going to come up fishing, we talked about this one when you won the event. This is sort of one of your homemade. Yep. It's like the old, what is it, a 170 or a 190?
170.
170 slick rig, and that was the lure that you won the 2-day Faust event on, basically. So one of those, some of these castaic swim bait, and these are a lighter lure. Like that's quite heavy. This is for lighter for over the weed.
You just go slow as with them, and they'll just with that soft as. You can see how soft he is.
Yep.
She just paddles along real good.
And then you've got one of these vibes. That would be a pretty good kit for someone to get started with if they wanted to try the Barra Tour next year.
Yeah, I reckon you could get away with those 3 lures and you probably catch your limit every time. Because a lot of the time, if we go through your results or your sessions, you go through, we got thousands of lures, and you come down and you finish your tournament. A lot of the time, it's these styles that come through with goods.
Well, we fish Kinchin. We got 2 fish on a lure. Fish Teenborough, wouldn't touch a lure. Faust, never got a fish on a lure.
Yeah.
So the only spot we got was we got it on squirrels at Kinchin. That was it.
Yeah. So I suppose you guys put a lot of effort into it, and you're rewarded by it each year. Have you got sponsors that you'd like to thank that help you get through to this point each year? And it gets harder for you every year, I can tell.
Well, the main one is Hummingbird, BLA. There, like we got the new Silex at 1200 megahertz on that, and we come up for a week beforehand, do a couple of days at Faust, and all we do is mainly drive around. We don't want to catch fish. If we do throw a lure, it's usually something with no hooks on it. So we just to see what they're biting, but we'll just sound around. We've got that new mapping in it, so we can map all the weed edge out. We can map the lips, the gullies that come into it. Because we need a highway for them barra to come up. And that's what Laney and Zach found. They found that little highway. They were all sitting in there. If you can find that, especially on the night, you're going to be up there.
Awesome. And Karim, you guys, you're a big fan of the Dobbins rods and the EJ Todd products. Been good to you for years, haven't they?
Yeah. I've been using Dobbins rods and that for years now, pretty much. And those guys bring a quality product. I don't think there's too many rods on the market. Edge rods are up there as well. And if you use those sort of rods, you won't go wrong, pretty much. So. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, congratulations again. It's been a great year on the 2017 Zerek BARRA Tour. We're going to plan some dates for the 2018 version. And just remember, if you're watching this and want to get stuck into some of the Barra, it's a great group of guys fishing some great locations at the best time of year. And I reckon it's one of my favourite weeks of the year.
The best week of the year. We love doing it because it's all together. With Camp Kanga this year was a bit not like it usually
is. But it'll be back
to
Camp Kanga next year.
We all camp together and it's brilliant.
That's it. So abt.org.au, we'll see you guys in 2018.